okay, but I think this has been done.
I'd rather watch
Holy shit,
Airheads.
Jason's here. Yeah, I'd rather watch Airheads too.
Like it wasn't terrible by any means.
No, it was an interesting way to do a teen like romance or like coming of age drama comedy sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still would rather watch Airheads.
I just think it's the fact they added in metal music made it slightly more unique, but otherwise it's the same formulaic shit as other coming of age
And
like
did
movies.
you recognize the drummer, the kid that was playing the drums?
He looks familiar, but I couldn't tell you where the fuck I knew him
Stephen
from.
King he's one of the kids in the Stephen King It.
No shit.
I don't remember his name. Steve, maybe. I don't know.
Steve. So he wasn't one of the main guys.
Yeah, one of the main kids.
Oh,
I just don't remember their names. So
or Stan, Richie.
Stan. There it is.
He was young Stan.
I think so. Maybe I'd have to. Maybe it's not Stan. Maybe he's one of those.
Stan's the really Jewish kid.
That doesn't help. They all look Jewish.
Yeah, but this one like
Hollywood.
broadcasted that he was Jewish.
I know, but that's Hollywood. They all
That was his character's thing, was that he's Jewish. Like Richie does like the impressions. Stan is Jewish. Eddie.
No,
Tim is saying that's an actor's thing.
Yeah, they all look Jewish. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of B&B Banter Bros Goes to the Movies. Tonight, we are going to be talking about kind of a under-the-radar film. I don't know if it ever made theaters, but it, definitely sparked my interest.
I don't think so. I think it was a straight
Wouldn't
to
surprise me.
straight to streaming.
But it caught my interest as soon as I saw the trailer like a couple years ago. And then I saw it was on HBO Max, and I was like, I want to watch that. So that is An American Pickle. Seth Rogen's American Pickle. And
I saw the trailer as well when it, back when it released, and I really wanted to watch it, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
It
it definitely it
I
disappeared.
remember the trailer as well. Unfortunately, I wrote it off. I was just like, well, okay.
Another Seth
And I just
Rogen
went
film?
about my
I'll
business.
move on.
But that's
Yeah, that was kind of what I did, especially knowing that it was like he's preserved.
that's
by
why I
pickles.
was
like,
interested.
Yeah, that's why I was
It
interested.
seemed like a different Seth Rogen movie, and that's why I was intrigued by the trailer. And
I will say I was delightfully.
and that's what we
surprised
got,
by this
something
movie.
different. From
Yeah,
Seth
did you guys like it?
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't think it's my favorite. Like I probably won't watch it. Like if I watch it more than once, it won't be
Yeah.
very much more than once. But I mean, I wasn't.
I think I
Yeah,
told
I
you
thought it was-
guys that I felt like it was a very endearing kind of film.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
That's really all I looked at it. It's like
It really.
I liked it. It was just very endearing.
It's very it's a well-told story. It's very simple to like just tell these message or speak these messages about being a good person and the struggles of success, and then how people misinterpret things when you are successful. Yeah.
Not only that, but like, yeah, and like it's also, I mean, a big thing of it is, the judgment that comes with someone who thinks that the younger generation
Oh,
has
dude.
lost their way.
Yeah.
Or that
And
the
the
newer
generation
generation
gaps.
knows better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was
Yeah.
cool the whole pickle thing is so ridiculous, but it's one of the things that made me smile about the story. They did really unrealistic things to move the story forward, and they were like, "Go fuck yourself, accept it or leave it."
Yeah.
And I accepted it, and then it showed like the difference of how far the world has come in 100 years, using that pickle brine time traveling fucking bullshit, and it wasn't. It was cool.
Yeah, I think, and I was delightfully surprised at how much heart was driven into the film in the last 20
I mean, you
minutes.
you saw it coming,
something like that. There was so much emotion that's packed in that last 20, and it was a very different way to do it too. I was thoroughly surprised by it.
Read off the details for us.
Yeah, details. Okay, so An American Pickle was released in 2020. It's rated PG-13. It scored, so IMDb has it scored at a 5.7 out of 10. Metascore has it scored at a 58. So it was mixed reviews. We've got Seth Rogen is the most recognizable actor in this whole movie. You have Sarah Snook played Sarah, who was Herschel's wife. I was actually, before the episode, I was talking to Tim and Jason about the fact that Kaylin Allen, who is an internet personality and was on the Ellen show, was probably the other most recognizable person that I could give you. There were a couple other actors like Kevin O'Rourke and Sean Whalen who were in this movie that I recognize. Couldn't have told you their names off the top of my head.
I would say Sean Whalen's the one I recognize too, because he played the doctor. But he's the one I was like, I know that guy.
He's the scientist that's yeah, and he's been around in a bunch of shit, and but he's always a bit actor, and never knew his name. But yeah, and you pointed out one of the guys from The Lonely Island, Jorma Takuni, I think is how you pronounce his name. We're gonna hope I didn't butcher that too hard. But yeah, other than that, I really got no other actors or actresses that I could really give you. Directed by Brandon Trost, whose name does not ring a bell at all. And then
I believe, so he must be friends with Seth Rogen because he did an episode of Future Man. Other than that, he really hasn't done anything that's been major by any means. So,
yeah, I mean, and this is not a bad showing from him by any stretch of the word. Like I say, it was met with mixed reviews. So I don't know that was really anything he could have helped. Because I think the film is shot well.
Well, yeah,
and everything.
So,
I think
I'm guessing that he's brothers with he has to be brothers with there he is. So Jason Trost is a very low, almost non-person of an actor. And he has a patch on one eye because he literally doesn't have an eye. So he did a film about superheroes, and I can't remember the name. I actually own it. But he directed it, wrote it, and all that stuff, and acted it.
Why wouldn't
It's
you?
a really low-budget film. And then he also was in 666.
Yeah.
So Studio 6666. He was the engineer guy that was hanging out with John Carpenter. That's Trost. That's Jason
Trost.
So his brother is this guy, the guy who directed this. So
you guys mentioned Tim Robinson, right? He's probably not on the fucking IBM.
IBM
roster. He's not on their payroll because he's a fucking sketch comedian on Netflix. Fucking I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, and it's fucking hilarious. And he's the guy in the court.
yeah,
scene.
I know that show.
It's very fast.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
So
He was a writer for SNL for a year. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh, the attorney. Okay, yeah, I do kind of remember the attorney being familiar, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you from where. Oh, Kurt Braunohler is he's another stand-up comedian. He's one of the people that get interviewed over their opinion of Herschel after he says all that shit.
It says all that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll dive into that at some point. Anyway, so this was written by Simon Rich and was also based on a short story that he wrote called Sell Out or Sell Out.
I can see where that works
Then,
as a title.
yeah, I mean, the premise is...
Yeah, they expanded
whatever.
upon it, obviously.
Oh, Jesus. Well, they have fuck all for numbers.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't have a running budget or anything. All I have is worldwide gross. It made almost
Yeah, not even a million.
or 500,000.
500,000.
Fuck me. I'm so used to the Marvel credits where like I'm into like
you're just-
millions and billions.
Saying
so, like,
million. Yep.
I'm adding zeros. But yeah, so it made about 500 grand worldwide, which is, I mean, if it's straight to streaming, that's actually not a bad showing.
Yeah,
I would
I don't
think.
know.
my guess is they probably spent about 5 million,
I don't know.
if not a little bit more.
Yeah, you gotta wonder how
It
much they had
felt
to
like
pay Rogan.
this
may have
movie
not
felt
even-
like they didn't care about the profit. They just
No.
wanted to tell their story and get in there and get out.
And there wasn't much that they had
Kind
to
of
do.
like Studio 666.
Yep.
So.
There wasn't much that they had to do for money wise. Like
Oh,
all of it was
so
very
simple.
God,
simple
no.
ways.
Like
yeah.
you had to rent an apartment and like so.
Mhm.
Yeah. Schlupsk was probably the most expensive
I
part.
think-
of that. And that's just in the wilderness.
I think maybe the time period section of it. Got to have all those clothes.
Yeah, Schlupsk.
So,
Yeah.
what makes this film different than your typical Seth Rogen film?
There's no
Okay.
pot whatsoever in this movie.
I was
There
gonna
were
say
4
that,
ones.
and then I was. Did they slip one in there? But no, I don't think they did.
No. Nope. I think the closest they get is the kombucha stuff that they talk about.
Oh, speaking of beverages in this movie, it's fucking vanilla vodka rage.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Oh yeah. What the hell was the name of that vodka?
I don't know.
Oh, I forgot.
but
But yeah, that whole thing.
But for him to set
Cossacks.
his whole warpath off is the fucking him being mad at flavored vodka. I loved it. I laughed so hard. I put anger on you. I will do
Well,
anger.
it wasn't the
or
vodka.
violence.
It,
I will
It
do.
was- yeah, I will do great violence
No, it
on
was
you.
the desecration of his family
Yeah.
plot. It was the
the
desecration.
bill-
It was the
it was the billboard,
quote unquote
yeah.
desecration of the family.
he was just pissed that the billboard went up on his.
because it was like
Yeah,
right on the
but I
land of
thought the fact that it was flavored vodka, I thought was the
No.
joke and why.
well, he was already mad about there being a billboard, and then when they put
Yeah, but when-
like the new
But when
big shit over there, like it was like, oh no,
yeah,
that set
and
him
he
off.
was like,
even
"What
more.
is that?" And the guy was like, "Flavored vodka," and he was just like, "Flavored vodka." I don't know. Shit was funny.
That was just a.
No, there was like a billboard before that, and he was just pissed that like,
That was just
they had
an
let him
emphasis
get
on his
that way.
disgust.
Mm.
Was like flavored vodka.
Yeah, he was madder that like he thought Cossacks were doing it. That's the running theme. Is he just believes all Russians are Cossacks?
Well, and
which I'm pretty sure
and
Cossacks.
it makes sense because you know why he hates him
Well, he
in the
wouldn't
beginning of
know
the
that.
film. So it really it fits perfect for why.
Yeah. They. Yeah. Oh,
and they
for
killed
sure.
everyone but us.
I love that like, you get that like weird blip, and all of a sudden just the whole place is just burnt down around
Their
them.
home. Did
They just
anybody
walk
else
off
feel
into the
like that was
sunset
a
to go to
little bit
America?
like the Bo Rat kind of world when they went back?
I mean, I could definitely see it. I mean, that's they tend to portray most places like that when it's like supposed to be a poor like
Especially
European
Eastern European,
like
yeah.
country. Eastern Europe, especially, yeah, because like anything that's like not in relation to like Britain or like other like big areas where people like can bring modern technology, like they just make it seem like it's like Euro Trip when they end up in like Bratislava and they're like, oh no, we're in Eastern Europe, and like the one guy rolls up, he's like, oh, we just got cable, Miami Vice, #1 new show, and like that's the exact same shit. It's kind of a trope. Like they've done it in like in so many movies where like, oh, we're in Eastern Europe, so
Yeah.
now it looks like I'm in the Stone Age.
That's true. Oh, here's 10 cents. a whole 10 cents? I quit. Start my own restaurant. Whatever. Yeah, so
Oh fuck.
what else
yeah.
about this film makes it different than any other than the pot? Because that makes does make a difference.
It's more. I mean, it's very much the no pot thing is
Minuscule?
very. It's not. I don't think it's minuscule. It's very much a jump from what Seth Rogen is known for. But I do think this movie is more serious than a lot of like, and this is where it dives into the fact that it's not written or done by Seth Rogen.
Nope.
I think
Say at least.
I think most of the stuff that he does is much more like is what he's known for. But like the things he's done outside of his own writings, he's done well in. But I think they fly under the radar because everyone goes, "Oh, it's Seth Rogen," but then they just don't think he can do it. And I think this is another one of those
Seth
things.
Rogen's Adam Sandler's uncut gems in a sense. Like it's not even comparable to Seth Rogen comedy and what he writes because it's all over the top silly shit. This one is a fucking simple story that tells good messages or people interaction and the struggle of finding success in America and the jealousy of or how you fail and if you're I don't know. So this is a serious story with a little bit of smiles and a few laugh out loud moments, but it's more it's less of a
It's very much just it's a generational. Sorry. It's a generational culture clash that's told very well. Like because you have someone who's from 100 years before, who's not wrong in anything he says, but he just. The lessons he's trying to impart on Ben are lost in the fact that he doesn't know how to talk.
Yeah, a lot of
Ben.
the comedy in this movie is truth instead of like silly fucking misdirected jokes. So I really enjoyed that. And Seth Rogen pulled it off for the most part. Like it was kind of average performance, but he was believable.
It was
One thing we didn't
performance.
mention
like
is
that.
Seth Rogen is playing two characters.
Yeah.
He's
Okay,
playing
so we got-
Herschel,
Yes.
and then he's playing the younger ancestral version.
Is it Ben?
Ben.
Okay.
So
Ben Greenbaum.
yeah, he's playing
and Ben
two
Greenbaum.
versions, or 2 characters.
Yeah. So he's playing like a new age hipster and a turn of the century
Ditch digger.
Eastern
He's a
European
ditch
immigrant.
digger.
Yeah, ditch digger, like jack of all trades. Like he's kind of a I just had the name of it, but I can't. Yeah, he's
just a man of tradition.
lowbrow, like very blue collar. Yeah, traditional. Like he's very into Jewish tradition.
His mission basically is to not let down his family legacy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things.
To return the
one of
family
the
to
things
its
he
glory.
passes on to his son, which
What
also
glory
is Seth
did he
Rogen.
have?
The simpler times.
It's more of an internal glory than anything. It was more of the
yeah.
pride he had about his name. But
yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
well,
where we
'cause
came from.
He
This-
makes the promise to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
history.
He makes the promise to Sarah, our son will be strong and his son will be strong and so on and so forth. And our family will remain that way. And when he sees
goes,
the way Ben is
"Oh."
living his life, he decides that
Yeah.
Ben has become
And he's
failed.
like Wu-Tang. He's all like, word is bond. So he has a mission to to fix that shit.
Thug life.
No, that's Tupac. Wu-Tang
What was-
forever.
I think one of the more interesting bits of this movie is when Herschel is essentially goading Ben into
His
selling
product,
his
idea.
selling his idea, his product. He's like, stop waiting for it to
Yeah.
be perfect. It's never going to be
I-
perfect.
I
You
like
have
that,
the idea. Sell
that
it.
message they were
Like-
describing through that dialogue about the struggles
Yeah.
of creativity and like you need to like quit while you're ahead type of thing or just not overthink it or
Well,
it was really well done.
Because you're like, who cares if the
Yep,
logo
exactly.
is blue or green or
Yep.
red? Like that was
5
his big
years
thing. Like,
on
who
the
gives a
simple,
shit?
yeah.
Sell it. And then Ben does it, and then they want to buy it. Of course, that doesn't work out because of shit
Mm-hmm.
that happened in the movie. But like that's one of the things. Like it's constantly proving these small points while also foiling them enough to move the story forward. And I think that was the
And that's
really
why-
cool part of the movie is there's not one main thrust.
it
It's
was
a number of
extremely
small
relevant. Everything that was going on was extremely relevant. It's the shit that we're dealing with right now and today, and have been primarily for the past like 10 years. It's just shifted into a much forefront or a heavier gear now because of the way the society is shifted.
Yeah.
But like, I agree. Like the way that they pinpointed every little detail about it, and just they nailed it. They nailed it without focusing on it too.
And that's why I keep saying I just like the messages. They just well told life lessons in this movie. And it was a very simple story that just kept moving forward. And we might want to say for anyone listening, this 100-year-old guy, he fell into
A vat,
barrel of
a vat.
A pickle brine.
A vat of
in
pickles being
1910 or
brine.
1919 or something like
1920.
Well, they said he was gonna. Yeah, he was in there 100 years, so it would have been. The movie was released in 2020, so 1920 makes the most sense.
He was preserved
Math.
in that shit for 100 years with no repercussions, no aging, no whatsoever, no reality.
No one-
and I fucking liked it.
No, but the way they explained it was great.
Yeah.
They said,
in
"It's
the
just the
press
science."
release, yeah,
That's all.
Dude,
and then they left
the way-
it. Oh, it makes sense.
the way they summed up the logic, and then the press.
Didn't the
Yeah,
scientists just go, the
exactly,
science
exactly.
adds up? Or like, I don't know how the
and
science
then
adds up. It just
they all
does.
accepted it and moved on.
That's why I love this movie. They were like, "Fuck you,
I-
this is dumb, but this is how you move something forward."
No, that part
Exactly.
wasn't important. It wasn't a matter
Yep,
of like
that was not-
Where's the science? Who cares?
There was
We've
no
got
life
things
lesson
to
in
tell
those
you.
motherfucking
And-
scenes. It was just set up to get to where, yeah.
Well, and that also
Nope, keep going.
proves. Sorry, Tim, I didn't mean to roll over you, but I think that actually shows a little bit of how that this was adapted from a short story, because they didn't take the time to pull out those minute details. It wasn't written as a movie to have the science put in, or to answer the idea why no one
Right.
That's
saw
what I
him
was
fall
like.
into the vat.
How do you
Or
not
why
know
n-
this?
Why the rats were intelligent enough to gather in
Because
mass
he
and go
fell.
after him. Like, you don't
They
have to
fell.
explain that because
They
it's part of the
instantly
story.
closed the place down, and
Yeah.
nobody heard that splash
Nope,
5 feet
nobody
away.
saw it.
He fell. They put a cover on it, and then another guy came
then
by.
that's it.
This place is
See,
condemned.
just moving forward.
Everybody left.
Just 1, 2, 3.
Now, here's
and
what
then-
I said about that. I mean, if it wasn't for the company going under and probably doesn't exist anymore,
Yeah.
but whoever owns the property, if the property hasn't gone back to the city, and even then he could probably sue the city.
Oh, there's so many
for sure.
reality things you could think about when it comes to this movie, but that's not the
No,
point.
that's not the point. That's not the point.
You got to believe at that point that family
Yeah.
probably
Oh,
died
yeah,
out
yeah.
if they're going
Or
under
even
that easily.
even at
So,
in the conflict part of the movie when they're fighting him and his son Herschel and Ben. Nobody there's all this press and he's going viral. Herschel is. Nobody talks about he's 100 years old preserving pickle brine. That should be the top fucking story. That should be the.
do you know what's even better is that when he gets called out
Yeah.
for all these beliefs and opinions, no one
100
remembers that
years old,
he's
yeah.
Do they
over
even know
100
it?
years old,
Is that part
and
of
he
the
wasn't
story? Do
around
they
it.
Yeah,
even know
everybody
it? The
knows
pup-
it.
He was in
Everybody
the
knows who
press.
he is.
Like, yeah,
But
they've
why
told
don't
the
they
story
ever
when they
talk about
found
it
him.
again?
Then he
Because
had,
that's the point. Nobody
Yeah,
cares.
You
That's
don't
the
need
point.
that.
Oh, you got me
don't
with
need
my
it.
own shit.
Yeah. Nobody cares. It's about
yeah,
now,
that's-
not
that's-
then. They called it artisan pickles.
Ooh,
Artisan
I like
pickles.
it.
Bill Burr made this exact point. Like when he does in one of his specials, he talks about the Duck Dynasty guy saying that he's against gay
What the
marriage.
fuck were
And
you
he's like,
gonna think?
This is a 70-year-old man.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
watched
what
that
did
the
you
other
think
day.
he thought?
It's hilarious. He comes from a time and place that when he was trained to think that way. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And that is a
He
lot
was
of
alive in 1920. We
and
still didn't let
that
them
joke
vote
right
back
there
then.
explains everything about Herschel's character.
Yeah.
And his mentality, his stubbornness, traditions, blah blah blah, and it conflicts with the
Exactly.
It's kind of a smart movie.
Now, the two characters that Seth Rogen plays, how do you feel about them? How do you feel that his performance on both of these characters were? Let's start with Herschel. How do you think his performance on Herschel was?
I thought it was good. I thought it was old timey accent. I don't know. I don't know why I would say that. I don't fucking know. how to compare 'em.
Old timey accent. Huh?
I
think maybe if he was saying she or something like that, that kind of. He just has a
That sounds
foreign
like an
accent.
anime.
I think, I think he did fairly well playing this this gruff, sort of quiet spoken immigrant. I would have. There are parts where I would have liked more out of the character, but like it wasn't poorly done
It's
either.
slightly above average.
Like there were just points where like I wanted more out of the character.
Elaborate.
Especially in the beginning, like he takes all the new stuff in much easier than I would think someone from his time period should have. There should have been much more of a culture shock to his character than what he got. And you can say that he's just well adjusted. I don't buy into that shit. Otherwise, like if this wasn't derived from a short story, if someone had written this, I would have expected the character to be fleshed out and have more of a reaction to all the new shit other than like throwing fists up at a taxi. Between that and his amazement
your
at
version is
seltzer
less
water,
funny.
which
Yeah.
was a good joke. Like I think the seltzer water was a good bit, but I think especially that part, I would have expected more of a culture shock. Once he gets going on like the pickles and all that, I actually enjoyed the character much more. There was more to it at that point, and that's my opinion.
That just falls into one more
Kershaw.
unrealistic thing that happens real quick to move the story forward.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. If it wasn't for the fact that I knew this was done by as like from a short story, I would have expected that more.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, like the culture shock thing. You definitely would feel there should have been a little more overwhelming. Yeah, a little more
He should be
overwhelming
terrified.
Tough
presence.
and
Yeah.
adaptable and strong-minded he is.
And that's
Why he went viral.
He's
the
a
day
ditch
he
digger
started.
I was just say.
He's a ditch
I
digger from the
think though
20s. He's not
that's
G.I.
what
Joe.
makes me believe I can accept this is that what he came from is poverty, hard times, the hardship of no other. Not only that, complete war, almost complete destruction of his hometown, all that. That was really quick before he got put in the brine, whatever, and then he travels across. So in my mind, I looked at this guy had quite the busy, progressive movement to better his future, just to come to America and try to better his future before he got thrown in brine. And I was like, yeah, he might be good at just adjusting. But
Yeah,
I do have to agree.
Maybe. I would love
that's
to
what they
actually
were trying
read
to
the
portray
short
it,
story.
But I do have to agree, like, I wish there was a little bit more jokes about the culture or like, this and that. And I think that, but
Yeah.
that
And
would have been, I
if
feel like
it
that
had
would have
been-
taken away from the point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
That would have been hating
Yeah,
on the
for
audience,
sure.
kind of.
but
in a
I
sense. They
agree.
might've-
He wasn't as overwhelmed as he probably should have been.
I wish I could read. Maybe I'll go find it at some point. But I wish I could read the short story to see how much of that background is actually in the short story. Because parts of me wonders if that's not so quick and like just fit in there really quickly. It's just to set something
Possibly.
up because they didn't
Exactly.
have it.
That's what all this shit
Well,
is.
have
Or
you-
anything that's super unrealistic? Sorry.
There's a film / book, because it is a book that got turned into a film called Look Who's Back. And it's about Hitler, who gets teleported into this time period. And it is
Oh,
Yeah, so-
yes, I remember the movie.
the
I
movie
didn't
was
watch
great.
it, but
I
remember
loved
the
it.
trailer.
And I also have the book, and I enjoyed the book just as much. It's another one that kind of has a very similar concept to this. Basically, Hitler comes in and he's like, but he just he adapts to everything because he's fucking Hitler. And then he assesses the situation, and then he overcomes. And guess what he did again?
But you can't turn everybody into a
But
Navy SEAL.
You should watch that because it has a very similar concept to this.
Okay.
And that was the ending of that hit.
Right on.
Look Who's Back. The ending of that. Oh, it was a fucking punch. because it was basically, it's a comedy all the way up until the credits.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just punch you in the face with all this dark reality. And you're like, oh my God. So
Damn.
give it a go. Because it really does feel like this American Pickle.
Okay. See, I remember the trailers.
I will warn you
that
that
I do remember the
The
trailer.
movie is
And I remember
German.
that's
It is
weird.
a German film. So, yeah. So you're going to have to read.
Oh, I see.
But the title. So you know me in titles. I like titles. I like to see how they fit.
This is a
How did this
top-notch
title? How did this title fit so well? What was the diversity of the title?
The pickle of being successful in America, obviously. Like fucking and I don't know, Aaron, what you got?
I lost my thought. Ugh.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways to interpret the title. I mean, obviously he works in a pickle factory. The way he's preserved, what he does to actually grow his fortune is to, you have those blatant ones, and then there's the abstract ones where like all the conundrums they run into, like they're also known as pickles. So I mean, it's an American pickle. Like, do you have the pickle of success? Do you try to root for someone else even though you're not there? Do you take the advice of someone who you don't agree with? Like things of that nature. Like the whole movie is in
All the
varying
life
degrees about
lessons,
pickles.
at least.
It's
All the
layered.
life lessons they drop in this movie, or at least that.
But it emphasizes an American pickle because he's a foreigner
Yeah.
coming into America, dealing with American problems. In
Well,
his
yeah,
own
you
country, he figured out his problems. He was able to overcome his challenges and
What
move
was-
forward.
Yeah. He's got to deal with modern day
Yep.
problems versus
And
the
so, like,
20s
was that
problems he had.
So yeah, like that's him coming over into America.
Yeah.
Now he's got American problems, so he's an American pickle.
Did he have a conversation in the beginning of the movie with his wife about like going to America and becoming rich, or was that like a dream they talked about?
I think it was narrated. I
Their-
don't think it was like
their
an actual
conversation
I
at
think it was
the-
just narrated, wasn't it?
Well, their conversation was just, they
Yeah.
went to their spot and Sarah wanted to have enough, was to be rich enough to afford her own
okay.
gravestone. And Herschel's dream was to one day try seltzer.
Yeah, right.
The reason they go to America is because their village
Yeah.
is wiped
The
out by
Russians.
Cossacks.
That's right.
That's the only reason they go to America. Yeah, the Russians. So like they go to America simply because there's nothing there for them, and they go. The only way to get to our dream is to go to America and try to get the American
Which is go there and
know.
do whatever you want, and hopefully it becomes. there it
live
is.
a better
Yeah.
life.
And what was his first job in America?
He worked in the he got a job in the pickle
He-
factory.
he
but it
was
wasn't-
kind of like-
he says
he
like
was
he won't.
Yeah, he was a
Charlie-
rat
he was
basher.
there.
He was
He
Charlie
was in
Day's
clubs.
character in Sunny in Philadelphia.
He was.
I love the way he said that he boss there the manager won't let me use salt, won't let me sort the pickles, won't let me pour the vinegar, but he says for every 10 rats he will give me a nickel. So like you see him just running around, he's like, it's a little degrading, but at least it's honest work or something like
to
that.
that nature,
And
yeah.
He says something to that effect. He's immensely positive. He doesn't face anything with a negative attitude. He says,
Yes.
okay, this is just an
And that's
obstacle.
Right.
I
and
need
that's
to
that
get
whole point I was getting at about him coming in, that whole cultural system shock that he should have had. Is that right there? Is he wasn't able to take everything in. He was kind of really limited to what he saw to begin with. So it was kind of like little, introductions here and there. But that's what I looked at, easy to accept that he was able to transition into this modern world.
that's-
because he's just one that goes forward.
That part of the movie was there to show you that he adapts fast.
Yeah. He just moved. Whatever it is, like you
yeah.
said, he's very positive.
Yeah.
He's just,
Yep.
this is what needs to happen. This is what I'm going to do. He's a man of action.
He's a strong mind.
He's a man of action. He says he's going to do something. He's going to do something.
Well, yeah, inaction just leads to death. So
What about Ben, the character Ben? Seth Rogen's playing Ben. I did not
like
either.
at
Ben
all.
was
Like, I
so
don't know why.
petty.
thought he was
and so insecure.
Oh yeah, so
Such a pansy.
And the character, I don't know. It told the lessons.
well, like and when he gets goaded into selling his product, and then he's like, oh, they want to meet me right now, and like, Herschel's right. Then he goes there, and of course, because stuff that like Herschel did, like he automatically.
I know,
just
and that's why I
blames
call him
Herschel
petty.
for everything.
That argument,
And
the
he's
reason
such a
for
bitch.
his maniacal maneuvers shortly after that is it's so petty. But I love that when he that in that meeting when he got turned down, the guy said, well, I guess it's never too late to change everything or something like that, sarcastically.
Yeah.
It was fucking hilarious.
I don't think he was being sarcastic. He's like, you may not
Yeah.
want my advice, but I mean, it's never too late to start over.
But the way he
like,
phrased it
you
and
know,
change, it's
completely
never
change
too late to
everything.
change everything. I would like it was extra funny on it.
Yeah.
It definitely seemed like a shit
Yeah.
thing to say right then, but like at the same time, like I think that character was supposed to be like
Yeah,
offering like legit
right.
advice.
But it just seemed like something like a cliche, something you say. You're never too old to start over. But the way they said it was fucking funny. It made me laugh. And Ben retaliating was so pathetic and
Yeah, he's taking
selfish.
the easy shots, whatever he thought he
Yeah.
could do, like calling the food people, the department.
He's a-
health
department.
All he's
health department?
doing is saying, all he's saying
The health
is, I
department,
spent 5 years on this, and it didn't work out, and this is your fault somehow. But really, he needs to realize his flaws. Of like he overthought it and overtried.
Yeah, he's just upset that
or it was simply a bad idea.
he's just upset that Herschel's able. He's a man
I
of
mean,
action.
well-
He's able to get things
Yeah.
done because he just doesn't waste time. And Ben sits there, wastes time,
Well, and like
not doing anything.
I think what's even more ridiculous is that instead of trying to make a new product, Ben just tries to go back and change
Yeah.
the product he already made into something different, and is like, "Oh, I just rebranded." I'm like, "No, like
Yeah.
they told you they're not going to do that. Like, just fucking do something entirely different."
Yeah.
Like, because he tries to make it like more edgy and like oh, criminals know bad product. It's like, I remember he changes the name of the kale thing. Like, dude, this kale fucks instead of like 90% ethical or something like that. I mean, in this day and age, his product
it really
was
wasn't.
not a bad idea. It speaks to a lot, like in the masses, a lot. And I think that in real life, there's probably already that app, but like it would sell
Yep.
And all them
that's what
in
I
a
said.
heartbeat.
groups. But yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
any of us or any of the audience was ever supposed to be on Ben's side. It was always Herschel, even when he was technically the bad guy character in the film.
Well, that's just it.
But
Like
yeah, we
Herschel.
were all rooting for Herschel the whole time.
The way I looked at it is Herschel is the hero and Ben was the bad guy. And Herschel's he
Yeah.
has a sense of innocence about him because of his situation that you can't help but just be
Yeah.
I don't know, impressed.
And that's why
Well, it just
I
boils
was
back
just-
to
that's why the moment of forgiveness at the end of the movie it works so well because of Herschel
Yeah.
personality and character.
I mean, a lot of his innocence speaks back to the fact that he's from the 20s. Like, he wasn't around for the interim time where, like, we decided that slavery, that slavery was bad and that, the LGBTQ community needed their own rights or that they were acceptable and all these other things. Like, these things happened while
Yeah.
he was in the vat. And no one seems to
Right.
fucking
Like,
understand
when
that.
he-
or,
That's
like,
why I
give a
brought
shit
up-
about it.
that's
Took his pickles and he's like, "You bring jar back. I reused
Yeah,
the
yeah.
good jars. So
They
if
were
you
like,
don't,
"How cute!"
I come find you." I put great
I make
violence on you.
violence.
and do great
I
violence.
love that shit. That shit is hilarious.
make
I do
violence on
violence
you.
on you. I love it.
They didn't take it serious. He was serious.
No,
They just was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, he's just so cute."
Yeah.
that's the generation gap.
Yep.
It's because of the way he was talking. Like, they was like, oh, he's just, fucking whatever.
The thing is
he's
Oh,
folksy.
yeah.
think
I
is
feel
what
like this
they
is how
probably
you
thought of him
get
as.
people in New York. Like, I don't see the difference.
Well, even that guy, like, at one point when Ben and him are walking on the sidewalk and they see another guy wearing
yeah.
basically the same shit
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Herschel's wearing. And he's like, hey, is
Yeah.
that vintage? He's like,
He
He just looks at him. He's like, what?
fucking hipsters.
What's
You know,
that?
and that. I was just like, I think there's one prevalent thing that I will say is that it shows that all the people like are very surface oriented. A lot of them don't dig deeper than what they automatically see. They see him making artisan pickles because they don't know that he's just using,
Rainwater.
like they don't understand that he's just picking stuff out of the garbage and using rainwater and salt in a used jar that he's not cleaning.
Yeah.
There was at one point they're putting pickles into a jar full of marmalade. No one gets that. They just see they're just they think it's quaint that he's making artisan pickles, and they want to. Everybody's so surface oriented. They don't fucking stop to think about.
And the term
They just
the
go with
term
it.
artisan
Exactly.
was
Society.
just a hipster way of saying local, homegrown, whatever.
Yeah, artisan really is only supposed to mean that it's
Yes.
like it's uniquely made
was.
by that person.
Which it was.
That's all it's supposed
Yeah.
to be.
not to
No,
health
for sure.
standards, but it was.
I often joke in the kitchen that I tell people all the time, artisan nowadays is just code word for shitty. Like it'll look terrible because it's
Artisanal,
artisanal.
yeah.
As opposed to the uniform look of a mass-produced product, you get the artisanal one that looks all fucked up, like somebody kicked it around for.
I mean, I think the proper term would be rustic, but as Aram likes to say, it's called lazy. So
But
it's called I can't afford the
How'd you
machinery,
guys
so I
charge
feel
double the amount.
how'd you guys feel about that part when he's like a celebrity, Herschel is, and then he kind of was put into like a Bob Dylan type of situation in this movie where the people misinterpreted everything he did because he wasn't on the same page, or he just did what he did, and the people thought it was something else, and they made it more than it was, and it's just kind
Are you
of
talking about like when he's up on a stand and
so many parts of it, interviews up on the stand, and then
But this
That's
is what
that's
I,
why
this
I
is what I
thought
was
I-
saying. Like this is all everyone gives a
Yep.
shit about
Yeah.
surface stuff. They interpret what he says to what they want it to be. Like when they say, "How about you
Yeah.
run for office?" It's like,
Oh
I'd
my-
like an office.
I'd like an office.
They assume that
I'll
means
take
he wants to
office.
run for office.
Dude.
and everybody's like,
That's all.
Dude.
That is how all of society is portrayed
Yep.
in this movie. Is that everything is taken at surface value.
and
No
he
one fucking
progresses
dies
because
anything.
he's
Or no-
reacting
well-
off of their reaction and how much exciting,
Right.
Yeah.
how much excitement he's gotten.
he's going with the flow.
So yeah, he's just
and they're giving him momentum
It's trope
under
shit where
false
immigrants-
circumstances.
something
or
he's not used to
in pers-
having. So
It's the trope shit where it's the trope shit in movies where like immigrants repeat
Yeah,
what other people are saying because they don't understand it or they don't speak English, and then people
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fucking buy it.
I-
Like it's in
but
plenty of movies.
The way that
It's done differently here, and it actually sends a
it
bit of a
does.
message. I don't know if they were
it
trying
does,
to, but
and I
it
think
sends
they
one.
tried to, and it totally fucking landed. Like how people make things bigger
Yeah.
or worse than it really is by the
take things
the
out of context.
society's- There it is, and yeah.
Yeah.
And the artist just made something to make something, and then the people made it more than what it is
but
or less.
but
than.
like you
So,
brought
yeah.
up though, nobody pays attention to the fact that he's 100 years old.
Not once. That's
That answers
it falls into that
every
unrealistic
issue.
list that we've
Is that he's
drawn on this
100
movie.
years
Oh,
old.
yeah.
Nobody
Because-
pays attention.
That would have changed
Every
the
belief that
argument.
he holds
That would have changed the life
is-
lesson told in that argument in this movie. 100 or put it on, made it 180 or whatever.
They wouldn't give him any
Turned it all
attention.
around.
Yeah. Every
Yeah. So they had to skip that
every
for,
belief
for
and
life lesson.
and yeah, every belief and opinion that he has is tied into the fact that he's
And
from the
he-
20s, and no one else registers that. And that, yeah, and you're right. They had
Yeah.
to skip the idea that everyone else could be like, hey,
Yeah.
he's from the
Give-
20s. Maybe we should try to educate him
Oh,
before
yeah.
we
And that's-
Shit,
crucify
maybe
him.
they did know, and that doesn't matter because that's how society is.
And that's just it. That's
And that's also
That's
cult,
the truth.
cult personality. Like mob mentality and cult personality.
that's
both
the
play
truth though.
into
Is
this.
it doesn't.
Because that's what
Yeah.
Herschel becomes is a cult
it's
personality.
the TikTok stars out there. It's the Instagrammers. It's they don't have 2 cents worth of value
Influencers.
because whatever. But just because they're blasting it over and they have 100 million views,
I do think this
It means
whoever
something.
wrote this movie really had foresight in the way things were gonna go in this world with TikTok and shit. Yeah, and
Oh,
things
for
going
sure.
viral and whatnot.
I
Well, like I said, they have an internet star in the movie.
think that
So-
it
Yeah,
was a really well written story.
Fuck yeah. And my favorite part,
Yeah,
no
I'd agree
love
with that.
story.
No,
Fuck no. No love story.
They really, there's literally no,
Not the
it's all
romantic
family.
shit.
It's all
Obviously,
about family
like
in this
the
movie.
father and son,
Yeah.
like learning to love each other, get on the same page. But I guess would be the better way to say it.
Yeah.
That's about it. I don't know, because it had a romantic comedy vibe to it. I don't know. Sometimes this
It's a
quirkiness or
bromance.
something. Yeah. Ooh, there it is. Yeah, bro. I love you, man.
It's definitely a bromance. Yeah, and very much it's about finding yourself
Mm-hmm.
after you've lost your way. You know, especially for Ben,
you can't do it on
that's
your
his
own.
arc is that he eventually finds himself. Yeah, you can't just shut yourself off from the world,
yeah.
which
Yes.
is kind of what Ben has done.
And Herschel did by default. You know.
it has a
for
lot to
whatever
say
reason.
about those who spend too much time in their own head and
Yeah.
on
Oh,
like one thing. Like he even admits that he doesn't go outside a lot.
yeah.
Like he's been working on this project for 5 years.
Yeah, he's a cave dweller full of insecurities, but with like what he thinks are good ideas. So he thinks he can be creative, but he does. He's not.
Herschel even tells
Yeah.
him. Herschel tells him like he's like you have no friends, you have no wife, you have no I think he even says like you have no job or something like that. He's like, so I'm all you have.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
so I'm here to help you.
Yep.
And Ben pushes him away.
Yep.
Because that's what Ben does. It has to do with the fact that I think his big thrust is that somehow he's worried about disappointing his parents.
I think it's because he's already
Oh,
disappointed.
yeah,
in his
yeah, that was a
parents.
because they tend
That was a big part of
his parents are very tied.
that was a big
into
part of
this whole
the turnaround at the end of the movie.
title.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you
resolve.
find out that the name of the app, the name of the app is Beep Bop, which
Yeah,
was
yeah.
what he called his mom and dad, and you see the video where they're like, they give
Yeah,
him the loan and
and-
saying,
and he's-
I got my company doesn't have a
He
name.
struggled.
Name it Mom and
he
Dad.
struggled to talk
And he
about his
does.
past with Herschel because he didn't want to
Yeah.
It meant too much to rehash it.
And that's what I'm
bring it
saying.
Back up.
I think that's where he disappointed
And that's
his parents
where Tim's
already.
saying.
So he couldn't hash
Yeah.
out that attachment to
Yeah.
his parents because he knew that he was a disappointment because he hadn't
Mm-hmm.
succeeded. He's basically thrown everything away. Even in the video, you see he got the money and stuff. He's like, oh, cool. But he was like already distracted about something else. Like he didn't take it serious enough. He didn't live in the moment. He basically
Yeah.
thought that there was an endless world out there, future that he didn't have to worry about. And that's something that in this today's society, we don't teach kids, or we don't even me, even my generation, our generation, we weren't really told that
Yeah.
it wasn't really enforced, I should say, that hey, after high school, you got to go to college. Like
Right.
it basically ended with our generation. Prior to
Yeah.
that, yeah, in the 80s, like anybody who grew up in the 80s, you pretty much had to go, oh, you're out of high school? Go to college. That was a little bit more enforced. But our
Mm-hmm.
parents,
You do what you want.
yeah, basically. We'll support you or not support
Yeah,
you,
for
whatever.
sure.
Now
Just
people
get out of my
younger than
house.
us are like, hey,
Yeah.
choose a gender.
And the hate
did
mail
kill
begins. Yay, we're
how'd you
popular.
guys feel? How'd you guys feel about Ben's what the fuck attacks on Herschel? How he?
Like how he was trying to sabotage his company and stuff?
Thank you.
They're petty,
sabotage.
like you said.
Yeah, but they were smart because he
definitely. I
uses
mean-
Herschel's flaws against them. It was like a simple,
Yeah.
He didn't do much, and it made a big ordeal. And I like.
But he was able to get out of the first couple
Oh yeah,
situations. It wasn't until things escalated
It wasn't
so
the
far.
third one.
and I think that has something to do with give it 3 days, the world's moving on to the next problem.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Things don't last forever, or like that shit's just a blip.
Yeah, the impermanence
anything-
of celebrity.
Really what Ben was is he was upset. He was pissed. He like despised, infuriated with Herschel because he said, give me a week and I'll have money. And he did.
Yeah.
The fact that he could
So,
say he was
yeah.
going to do it
He did what he
It
said
was
he was
pure
going to
petty
do.
jealousy.
Just like you said, he's a man of his word
Yep.
and a man of action. He said, I'm going to do this. He went out and fucking did
Nope.
it.
He couldn't
And
handle
Ben
it.
couldn't
Yeah.
handle it.
He's like, it's not that
Yeah.
easy, but it was that easy. And then he got upset. He got all butthurt about it, and he's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's using garbage. But what happened? How did he fix that? He found a way. He got interns. Now, here at B&B Banter Bros, we have slots open for interns. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody that knows how to run
Yeah. We really need.
fucking Reddit. And
TikTok.
I've opened them and then I completely abandoned them because I
Yeah.
don't.
We need our nook and crannies cleaned. We need to pass a health inspection.
Yeah. We really just need some young kid
For sure.
who can do social media.
And
Somebody with direction
somebody
that we don't need.
that can
We
kill
can't
rats with
pay.
a bat because there's a lot of them.
Yeah. He's talking right now.
Well, I mean, Tim's basement might have some problems for a while, but
Only when Jason's over.
burn. Sorry.
That's
What was your favorite scene? I mean, Jason, you kind of already said that you had one. But Aaron, what was yours?
I'll tell you. I think it was when they're running to Canada, and Ben gives they have that little like moment where they're starting to grow closer, and Ben reveals in like his change of heart moment like that he's the one that did all these things. And Herschel fucking drops him.
Yep.
And then runs off, and then almost gets caught by Border Patrol. So he like quickly shaves off his beard and
Yeah.
basically switches places with Ben. What I thought was hilarious was the fact that no one questioned the fact that they both
Right.
looked alike at that point. And like he's like, oh, that's Herschel over there, and like the border guards didn't just go, hey,
Yeah.
no, you come with
It's
us too."
Canada. Eh.
Yeah, and that was that Canadian border control or U.S. border control?
Well, they were in U.S. going to Canada.
That'd be my question because I don't think.
I guess, yeah, I don't know.
he
Yeah,
never
I guess
went
I don't
into
know
Canada.
which
He went
side
back
it
to Ben's
was. Yeah.
apartment.
Maybe it was U.S. It wouldn't surprise me, yeah.
I think it was U.S. Border Patrol. But anyway, that whole run of things I thought was
Hell yeah.
actually kind of entertaining and was really like I was thinking that was the end. And I was like, is this like going to be like a talented Mr. Ripley thing where like Herschel just takes over Ben's life? And so I was like, I was brought back in. I was kind of fading out, and I was like, I kind of saw where things were going.
Didn't see that one
That
coming.
brought me back in for the ending of the movie, and I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, I didn't see that coming. Like, let's get back into this for a second.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clever.
So
He
that'd
was
be mine.
fucking on the ball. He was just like, oh, I look like him. Yeah. I was like, who would have thought that so quickly?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Again, his adaptability.
But Ben, on the other hand, screwed the pooch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, just wearing like his parka out in the middle of winter, going to Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did a good job. What's that, Tim?
I was gonna say it was like a 2-day hike, and like when Ben is just like, I'm cold, and Herschel's like, I
Yeah.
got you, buddy. Yep.
We'd be warm together.
Yep.
He's like, thank you. Like this is like one of those things where like it's the new age crowd. Like he's not accustomed to hardship because Herschel's wearing just as thin a clothing as Ben is. Somehow Herschel's not.
He's
bothered by
old,
the
man.
we-
He's
by the
old.
weather.
He's old school.
He's tough.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's
Strong
old school.
mind.
But that's what I mean. That's the generational gap. He's used to hardship and he's
Yep.
used to working and being cold and all these things. Like, and then it's that sort of stuff. Like Ben is ill prepared for everything. Like everything about this. Like he brought a fucking beard trimmer on a 2-day trek to get him to the border and come back. Like it's the shit like that. You go, why the fuck?
worked out in his
What are you
favor.
doing?
I also like how he put the hat on
Well,
too.
yeah.
It's total hipster hat. Everything he was wearing,
Yeah.
just he looked like
Oh,
a
for sure.
fucking hipster.
And that's okay.
To those hipsters out there, yes.
Stop trying to make it okay, Jason. It's
But
We're not gonna
I
win
did like
anybody
this
over.
movie, how they did a really good job making you hate Ben 3/4 of it. So at the end of it, when he did
Yeah.
make his resolve and his forgiveness and his steps to be a better person, you felt happy for him. Like when he felt like in his heart he made his parents proud. You were like, I was like, yeah. Good for you, dude.
And that
You
whole
know?
like cemetery thing was a very touching. You said this earlier. The emotional points, the emotional beats on this were fantastic. They weren't like overdone where you're like crying, but they were just enough where you connected with the character. Yeah, you felt them. You
felt them.
empathized
This
with
dialogue
them.
was full of truth and down to earth fucking words. Like it was the way life is.
Even that whole bit in the church was amazingly well done.
Honestly, this is where I think I enjoyed this movie so much is I give Seth Rogen on the Herschel character. I think this is some of the best acting I've ever seen him do. And
I
he didn't
agree.
have that fucking laugh.
He did once when you first meet Ben, and I was like, "Stop!" Well, it's from Ben, not Herschel, but obviously, you know,
that's it when they're meeting. He's like, but it wasn't like his over laugh.
But that was the only time he was happy.
Yeah.
Is when they first met each other, and after that, it was all self-centered, fucking blah blah blah, and then turned into sabotage. So there was no laughing moments after that.
This movie makes me want to go back and see some of the other stuff that Seth Rogen has done that isn't a Seth Rogen joint. Like when he's done someone else's work that's supposed to be more serious. I think there's like a movie called The Last
that's
Waltz.
Michael Jordan documentary.
The Last
not that
Tango.
good.
Last Waltz. That's what it was.
No.
It's not?
No.
Okay.
He has
it his fault?
He plays the husband. His wife. They like move into this neighborhood or whatever. His wife just meets this other man and then has an affair. It's just.
I thought he did great as the cameraman in Anchorman 1. No.
Yeah. I know he's in. I think he did a movie with Kristen Bell and Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, he played
Kelsey
Frasier.
Grammer.
And
it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie, and I don't remember what it's called now. But it looked good, and he's in it as like a love interest for Kristen Bell. So I might watch that.
Yeah.
oh wow.
At some point.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that this
Grammer looks good in
is
it, too.
the most serious I've ever seen him. Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed with this performance because, like I say, this is not something you expect out of Seth Rogen, especially when you watch the trailer and you get the premise. It's definitely not something you would expect.
But it's silly enough to where he belongs.
I was just saying, but it was still silly. It was like the jokes and things still land.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as Herschel. Like they were funny.
Yeah.
Like I just loved his reaction to like when he walks into the Ben's apartment, right? And he's like, "Oh, looking around, it's like, oh, it's large. Oh, you own this? Oh, this and this? Well, you know, I'm like, he's impressed.
Even that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have monies.
You have monies.
That reminds me, during one of their arguments,
monies.
Ben's all like, I don't have any money. Herschel looks around, is like, you have all this stuff, but you don't have any money.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? You
Nailed
wasted
it.
it on this shit.
Yep.
That just
Just smacked us all in
reminded
the
me of
face.
For sure.
It,
He's got a. He's
and
got
it
a
reminded me
seltzer
of George
water maker.
Carlin's "Where are you gonna put all your stuff, Joker? You only have a house to put out."
Yeah, that's why you have to.
Yep.
That's why you buy a house so you can
It
have a
was-
place
it
to
was
put your
good.
stuff.
And people who have an
so you can
apartment,
go out and buy
who
more stuff.
accumulate more things, need a house then. So if you just move back down to the apartment, you have to.
Yeah.
Yep. You have to get
It's
rid
a-
of shit.
it's a
and
sliding
move to
scale.
Apartment, so
Evolution.
Yeah.
But this.
No, I think that this movie is very much the pinnacle of the serious points that you see from Seth Rogen in other
There you
movies.
go. Yeah.
Because you get glimpses of it, like in Knocked Up, he has a couple moments where like he actually acts serious, and you're like, oh shit, okay. But then like,
I
he's
bet
back
you
to
whoever
doing whatever
called
the fuck
him
he
to
really
cast
does.
his part had the same thought that you just said. Like they saw him in other things, and they saw small blips, and they
Like you see
and
those
I
glimmers.
completely agree, and they were just like, holy shit, he could probably do this, and they were right. And also, Tim, you have like a short story about like a portal to hell and this like and you said Seth Rogen was the character to be in. He would look similar to, right?
kind of. So yeah, I have a story called The Feeder, and I basically wanted it to be like a movie, and it's about purgatory.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah,
about
you told me
the
about
midpoint of purgatory, and basically this guy, the feeder, is a farmer who grows corn. He harvests it, and then he takes a wheelbarrow, throws it in the forest, which is supposed to be where Cerberus is, and he's basically just feeding Cerberus.
That's the three-headed dog.
You can't feed a dog. You can't
It's
feed
it's
a,
it's
feed a dog
a it's
cornmeal.
a
Well, one of the heads like
special corn. And then he just goes to a shack, and then that's where he lives and all that and everything like that. But you basically take like Tom Sawyer and Herschel, like the Huckleberry Finn, like the shirt, the overall.
Yeah.
Overall,
But the beard,
no shoes.
the beard, if you were
like,
just to
the straw
curve it
hat.
down just a little bit more English and put a straw hat and him sucking on like a, wheat
Yeah.
something. Yeah. That's what
Piece of wheat.
But
that's what I
straw.
imagine. Except he doesn't talk.
And-
He grumbles because he has no tongue.
So yeah, did you think about this when
that got
that
dark.
story of yours?
I
Tim,
did.
when you saw this movie.
It came to point.
Did it kind of solidify your
That he could do
your
it?
vision? You're
Yes.
like, yep.
Yes, it did. It totally did.
That's the
Hit
that's
up
the way
Seth
I
Rogen.
Totally
He's
did.
got time.
I wish I
was
could
like,
find a
"God damn."
way to get a hold
Tim
of
might
him.
have to go into casting,
Right?
I guess.
Just-
Hit him up on Twitter and tell him if he's done making pots for a while. Or
Right.
vases for a
If
while,
I
like,
could,
can
I
you
would
do
love-
this?
I think he'd be spot on. I think it'd be great. I think he could totally.
Hell
do it.
yeah.
So I just need to
But
finish
yeah, this
writing.
movie. Yeah, this movie's a hidden gem. It's
Yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it
For sure.
because
Yeah.
when I suggested it,
Yeah.
I felt like I was going to stand alone. So
yeah. Like I said,
No,
yeah,
I
saw the
definitely
trailer,
didn't hate it.
wanted to watch it, forgot about it, saw it here and there, and was just kind of like, maybe it's too late. And then you came and told me about it with such enthusiasm. I was like, fuck yeah.
And was I
then,
wrong?
Hell yeah.
You self-serving son of a bitch. No, you were wrong, not wrong. If that's what you need to hear, to sleep tonight.
I have to agree.
Turned into Walter.
I have to
from
agree
Pickle.
though.
Where's the
Aaron,
line?
it's
Am I wrong?
Oh,
probably not one that I would watch anytime soon again.
I agree.
But it
with
did
that,
stick
yeah.
with me plenty too.
The
So-
life lessons and
Yeah.
the right choice type of messaging will stick with me forever.
It's
Like,
one of those
they
movies that like
said it so well.
I'm glad I watched it.
it's one of those
Yeah.
movies that if someone else wanted to watch
Yeah.
it, I'd be like,
Right.
yeah, let's sit and watch it.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those movies I can enjoy again because I'm watching
Absolutely.
someone else glean something
I
from it.
would
And then I
suggest
can
it
glean
to other
something new
people
from it.
too. Like I would
Yeah.
absolutely go, hey, you know what you should try? Give this a go. You may be hesitant, but give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did with you guys.
Word. Yeah.
All right. Well, how many pickles would you give it?
100.
How many artisan pickles
Um,
would you give it?
I mean, I'd probably give it
Okay.
a 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, I'll go 4.
Yeah, I go 4 too. Solid 4. No question.
Yeah.
It was just a really well written story. Wasn't overly complicated. Wasn't whatever.
Yeah, the story itself is really great. It's the rest of the movie is whatever, but the story is really
absolute-
what matters. And
I will
especially
honestly
in this
say
one.
I cannot think of anybody else to play Herschel. Ben, sure,
I had
sure, but Seth Rogen did such a good job at separating the two.
his voice is gruff enough. Yeah.
he
I couldn't tell you who I
and he did the
as Herschel
voiceover
either.
in the beginning of the movie. Correct?
Yeah, he did a narration. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. It just
Yeah,
seemed
that's Herschel. That's
it
Herschel
seemed
just doing his own
deeper or
voiceover.
something. But I guess it was a fucking voiceover, so it was all extra.
I really did
Produced-
love Herschel. I think that's a great
Yeah.
character.
And I think that so
The beginning when his fucking shovel keeps breaking and like everything he's doing, I thought that was just.
I enjoyed it
this
too.
is a
I
funny
think
thing.
that proves that
You saw it
we're all
coming.
old men.
Yep, you saw that coming, but it was like
Mm-hmm.
everything happening to him. like just his wagon breaks. This like his shovel breaks. His second shovel breaks. He tries different types of shovels, and then his wagon breaks.
Well, then when he puts the metal on the shovel so it won't break, and he's like and then the wheel
But it
falls
just
off.
shows
his-
you it overcomes everything. Like I like and not complain about it too.
Same thing with Sarah. Like when he's at the market and he's like, "Oh, do you come here often?" She's like, "No, I'm destitute and the food is expensive." And then she walks off. He's like,
Yeah.
"But I wasn't to be deterred."
But yeah, I don't know. It was just really good. It was really good.
Yeah. We, the Banter Bros, highly suggest it.
Absolutely.
Anybody that loves a
At
good
least
story,
once.
here's one for you.
and it came out of nowhere.
Most definitely.
It was
Absolutely.
no,
Came out of nowhere from someone
and
you
I
wouldn't expect.
appreciate that as well. Not a high marketed,
Nope.
sold movie. And
I saw one
Yeah,
trailer
sucker
when it
punches
first
all
came
around.
out, and then I was like, interesting. I'm intrigued. Forgot
so
about
long
it.
ago that I forgot that he played two characters. So when Ben was Seth Rogan as well, I went, oh shit, okay. I was just kind of like, oh shit, oh, all right, here we go.
Also, anybody else impressed that he was able to take on those billboard construction guys by himself very
Yeah.
well? He took on 6 of them, and he was
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Well, I mean, the
It's
fact that
so-
I think that points to the fact that he's used to the Cossacks, and these guys are,
Still-
out
And
of
you
weight.
can
for
add
still,
it to
like,
that
guys.
the
unrealistic
numbers.
list,
He held
but
his
still.
own.
Yeah. But it was
Yeah.
also the Steven Seagal
Definitely-
thought process. Like, there's 6 of
Definitely
us,
had
attack
that type
him one
of
at a
action
time.
movie sensibilities to it.
Well, it's the Steven Seagal
yes.
trope. There's like 16
So
of
it's
us,
like,
one at a time. Don't double up. Don't give him a chance to,
That's what he says in
get
Jean-Claude
taken
Van
out by one
Johnson.
guy.
Bruce
No!
Lee's advice.
One at a time, otherwise you're gonna run into each other.
Right?
I forgot.
Hell yeah.
That's another hidden gem.
Shit. We have to.
Yeah, that one flew way under the radar. I fucking forgot that it had gotten
One season,
run.
and it was done. I think that's all. That's all we
Might
need.
be all right.
All right. Well, yeah.
Let's end this episode
That
with a
has-
fisticuff story.
Fisticuffs. That has been Seth Rogen's An American Pickle.
American Pickle.
Right.
Not even.
He's
Seth
the
Rogen.
only
It's-
thing
yeah,
worth
it's
saying
not
to
written
sell
by
the,
him.
Yeah.
the show, though.
He's the only. He's
You know
the
he was the
actor.
marketing
It
employee.
was Simon what's his face? I forgot.
Brandon Trust.
I almost said
I
Simon
almost said
Birch. But that's not
Garfunkel.
really like. That's it. Brandon Trost was the director. Simon something
Simon
or other
Cowell.
was the writer. I
Whoa.
almost call him Simon Birch, but that's that really
Simon
cramped
says-
Modoc kid.
We should stop.
Wesley Snipes.
Pay your taxes.
Passenger
This has been
57.
B&B Banter Bros Goes to the Movies, and thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Later.
Hurt feelings make me laugh.
Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to check us out. Jason, where can we be heard?
I don't know, Tim. Where can we be
Well,
heard?
let me tell you where we can be heard. You can find us on all the other platforms that you find podcasts, like iTunes and Amazon Music,
All them places you find all your favorite and popular podcasts.
Spotify.
That's where I listen to podcasts, and nowadays you can rate your podcast on there. Go ahead and give us 5 stars on Spotify or any other platform you listen to your favorite podcast on.
And Spotify.
If you want to watch us, you can find us on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, give it a share, you got a comment, all the algorithm stuff. It helps.
And if you want to comment on how bad and terrible we are doing or how ugly we look, just send us an email at bnbbanterbros@gmail.com.
And that's A-N-D, you said, between the B's?
A-N-D in between the B. You can also check us out on the multiple social platforms that consume everybody's life, like the YouTube, the Twitch, the Twitter, the TikTokity, and the Instagrammy, including Facebook. So please, come check us out. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah.